Yo, what's good, everyone? Welcome to the New York Jets episode of the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. The podcast we've all been waiting for. Maybe, yes, it has not been official, whatever, however you want to say it. But we are absolutely here. It is officially Aaron Rodgers Day. I'm going to actually, you know what, Greg? I'm going to pull that back. This is Aaron Rodgers Eve. It's Aaron
Yes.
Rodgers Eve. It's NFL Eve. Right, the league year starts. We're recording on Tuesday, March 14th. The league year starts tomorrow. It's been the tampering period, but Rich Eisen said the NFL told him we're not allowed to call it tampering. So it's the it's the X period. It's the purgatory period. And we are at Aaron Rodgers Eve, Greg. New York Jets are going to acquire Aaron Rodgers. And how do we know that? How do we know that, Greg? It's
I know
because
Trey Wingo.
yes, my boy Trey Wingo, who announced the fact that the Jets brass was going to California to meet Aaron Rodgers, which was then later confirmed 10 hours later. He was the first person to confirm on Monday that the Aaron Rodgers deal is done. He did a little soliloquy about time because 15 years later, the 39-year-old quarterback, Super Bowl champion, MVP, is coming from the Green Bay Packers to the New York Jets. So I could finally breathe. We can all finally, relax a little bit. But then this whole time for the last 48 hours, nobody's confirming it. We got Shefty.
Yep.
I'm like, we got reports of Shefty walking off the set. We were watching every single eye movement of Ian Rappaport. And then Greg. And then my girl, Diana Rossini, shoots out some random messages, right? Just like little quick jabs here and there, confirm here, confirm there. And then she talks about a wish list. A wish list, which we're going to get into at the back end of this. But I'm just so excited. I'm beaming with excitement. I haven't even let you say a word yet. That's how excited I am. I wish I had my cheese head with me. I've been asking for this, praying for this since November. And we're actually here. You called me a crazy man. You called me crazy, Greg.
I
And
did.
we're here. We are officially here. So before we get into everything, all the details, if you're listening, you're just as excited as we are. You might have some trepidation, which we'll also get into. Before we get into the restructures, before we get into the wish list, before we get into Aaron, and whether you like it or you don't, we'll talk about that a little bit too. How you feeling, man? How you doing? How are you feeling? It is NFL Eve, regardless of what happens, but we know what's going to happen. He's coming on the Pat McAfee show at 1 p.m. Eastern. But how you feeling, man? I mean, it's been very, very eventful from all sides of the NFL. I mean, every single team it's been eventful for. Even the teams that don't do anything, like the Commanders, it's been eventful. They're on pain. So we had a first-round pick trade. Things are happening. How you feeling, man?
I feel great. To your point, there's been a lot of activity around the league. It's definitely going to keep picking up. You hear both people getting signed, people not happy about deals getting done or getting restructured, so they're looking for trades or seeking trades. It's been a great start to free agency, even though it technically hasn't started until tomorrow. But it's going to be a lot of fun. It seems like Aaron Rodgers' wish list lines up with a lot of our wish list.
He is my wish list, Greg.
Yeah, which is great to see too. He wants skill players. We want skill players. We want Aaron Rodgers. He wants to come here. It sounds like so. We get the final confirmation hopefully on the Pat McAfee show tomorrow at 1:00. But until then, it seems like everything's lining up real nice. I'm very excited about it. I think that our wish list is a little bit broader than Aaron Rodgers because we've restructured a bunch of contracts. We'll talk about that in a second. I think we still have some more free agents that we want to acquire. We've talked about looking for a safety. We've talked about looking for offensive and defensive linemen. So there's still a lot of work to be done, but this is the major piece of the Jets offseason. And it sounds like we have it done before the offseason even starts, which is a great place to be as a Jets fan.
I mean, if they announce Aaron Rodgers at 1 p.m. on the first day of the league year, what else do you want from them? You know what I mean? What else do you want from the New York Jets? So let's get into it. Let's get into the front office. Let's get into our main man, Joe Douglas, and honestly, Coach Saleh for what they've been able to convince a couple of these players to do.
Sure.
So first of all, we mentioned last episode we have Dwayne Brown coming back as left tackle. So when we talk wish list, which we will in a little bit, you have to be smart. The point of this podcast, we're giving you a little perspective. We're trying to do the research, for you, and that's why we have the back and forth. We can't get a guy like Bakhtari who's restructuring his deal in Green Bay, and at the same time, we have Dwayne Brown who just elected to stay. He had a shoulder procedure. We love him, right? We meaning the front office and the staff. And it's his last year. He's a veteran who decided to come with us. So he's going to be our left tackle.
Yep.
You know what I mean? This is what it is. Stop talking to me about Orlando Brown. Stop talking to me about Bakhtari. We can't have that. It's just not going to happen. So we have Laken Tomlinson, who came in as a left guard from San Francisco, veteran. He decided to restructure. No matter how you feel about him, he's going to be way better with an actual pocket quarterback, especially if his name is Aaron Rodgers, 4-time MVP, 2-time COVID MVP, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP. All right, so that's where I'm going to start and where I think it's super important. Somebody like Laken Tomlinson takes a restructure. What are you going to say? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're any other player on the team, what are you going to say?
Yeah, he's a veteran guy. He chose to come here because he saw something. He still sees something after an up and down year last year for him and the Jets team and organization as a whole. And he's willing to say, hey, I'll restructure. I'll make some sacrifices as a veteran guy, a guy that's played at a high level for a lot of his career. Last year wasn't his best year, but to your point, I think he's trending in the right direction for this upcoming season. And if you're a young guy, if you're a guy that's not garnishing as much, as he's, getting paid, if he's willing to sacrifice it, I think he sends the message to a lot of people in the locker room. We should all be willing to sacrifice because we have big expectations for the season, which is incredible to see.
Yeah, so that's why if you're watching on our YouTube, I have him as the center right now.
Yeah.
He is the main man here, and then it trickles down from there. You have DJ Reed, who by all accounts was one of the best signings of the entire offseason, let alone for the Jets.
Yep.
He restructured. We have 2 tight ends, Conklin and CJ, who just signed. They're down to restructure after a terrible year. You know what I mean? Think about it, right? Like all these 4 guys that we just mentioned came in during this year to quote unquote win now. We were terrible. We didn't make the playoffs again. You know what I mean? There was a couple games we didn't score a touchdown in the first half. A couple games we didn't score a touchdown the whole game. We suck. And they're like, yeah, we'll restructure. You mentioned something real quick, and I wasn't able to personally get a solid answer from any actual players. I've been trying to ask them on Twitter, to be honest with you, to see if, especially like somebody like Leger Douzable, right, who's now in the media. I've been trying to ask him, trying to get an answer about whether it is good or bad for the players to get a restructure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because what is a restructure? It's you get a paycheck now with guaranteed money, and you basically push, when they say push the money down the road, quote unquote, you're creating more void years at the end. So yes, you're technically helping the organization by saving money now, but at the other hand, like, you're getting the money straight up front. You know what I mean? In a check right now. So maybe for tax purposes, it's worse. I never got an answer. So you say sacrifice. That's the only thing I'm not sure of. I know it's annoying because you now have a 1 less year of free agency, and now you're kind of stuck there next year. You know what I mean? You cannot get cut next year. The dead cap is so high. Like, you have to be a New York Jet next year. But when you get Aaron Rodgers this year for 1 or 2 years, you're like, okay, great. I can't wait to sign that. Yeah, restructure me, cash now, and I have to stay for, you can't cut me or trade me within the next 2 years with Aaron Rodgers here. Yes, please. So as much as I'm happy about it, I also don't know if it's a sacrifice or it's kind of like, hey, good job. Because the other person we didn't mention here is John Franklin Myers, who I don't want to say has given up a couple of games due to boneheaded mistakes, but we all know the deal with his penalties. We just gave him a contract, and now we're restructuring for him. You know what I mean? So what do you feel about the restructure process? I know you mentioned sacrifice. I just kind of wanted to get a clarification there.
Yeah, I just think the sacrifice thing is you see it with a lot of people, especially if we, God willing, go on a deep playoff run and win a Super Bowl. Everyone leaves because you have the option to leave. You're going to get paid top dollar. So if you're not a free agent and you have to stay here because we're not going to cut you, and you don't have the flexibility of a short-term contract. That's why LeBron started doing 2-year deals. That's why everyone wants short-term deals with high money. It's because you can jump around, you can move around. If you're playing really well, like DJ Reed is, DJ Reed was an incredible cornerback, NFL wise, not just Jet wise last year. He can garnish a high wage. He can get top dollar for some of these teams out there, but now he's on our team for one more year. You don't know how many good years you're going to have. If you have 3 good seasons in a row, but because you restructured your deal, you're stuck here for a 4th year, and you have a bad year your 4th year where you could have been a free agent after your 3rd year, you're losing out on millions and millions of dollars. So I think, being
That's the
cemented in a
sacrifice.
place, I think being cemented in a place, losing that flexibility, I think it's a risk. Maybe it's not a sacrifice, it's a risk that they're willing to take. But, I think it means a lot that they're willing to take that risk or make that sacrifice to say the Jets is where I want to be for a few years. I'm not worried about having a bad year. I'm not worried about losing my market value because I think this team's going to be pretty good. So I'm willing to restructure. Like you said, take some more money right now, get paid less during the season, and then we'll see how it goes, in 2 or 3 years, whenever the new deal ends.
All right. Speaking of contracts,
yep,
we got to talk about the one guy who signed, right? Like you can't sign anything again till Wednesday, till you're listening to this till today. Nothing's official. You could still get Anthony Bard, right?
Yep.
Shout out to Anthony Bard who did it to us, and we were so thankful because he stinks.
Yeah.
You could always get Anthony Bard where you agree to terms and then you don't sign on the deal and you switch your mind and you go to a different team. As of now, Greg, you got Mr. Alan Lazard from the Green Bay Packers. Who knows if it's a coincidence? Who knows?
Yeah.
It's possible. It's possible
Yeah.
that it's a coincidence. But we got Mr. Alan Lazard, very young, very good run blocking wide receiver. And that's usually terms held for the wide receiver 4 or 5 who's just trying to make the team, or like elite wide receivers like Steve Smith.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't know if he's an elite wide receiver, and I know for sure he's not a wide receiver 4 or 5. So I'm saying he's somewhere in the middle there. He's been pretty incredible. He's had pretty incredible stints with Aaron Rodgers. Like, not every game, but he's definitely built a rapport. Aaron Rodgers, we talked about him being on Pat McAfee's show. He's mentioned Alan Lazard by name a couple of times before this whole thing. That's just one of his boys. I really wish we did the same thing with Keyshawn Nixon, the all-pro returner, who they also talked about the relationship, but he got re-signed in Green Bay. But I'll take Alan Lazard. I'll shut my mouth, and I'll take him. Corey Davis, we know, is going to be gone. We talked about that cap casualty, whether it's in the trade for Aaron Rodgers so that Jordan Love could have outside wide receiver for 1 year on a nice $10 million deal.
Yep.
Or he's just going to get cut. Either way, Alan Lazard, the guaranteed money, 2 years, $22 million. Unbelievable. I'm going to give you the hottest take right now, and I'm probably going to regret it, or I don't even know if I totally mean it. But just signing Alan Lazard for 2 years, $22 million is so worth it. Like, thank you, Aaron. Like, even if he ends up retiring, like, at least thank you for that one gift. Like, at least give me one thing for, like, this is a nice deal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good deal for a good wide receiver. To your point, I feel like he's kind of like one of like the ultimate like boomer bust kind of guys. Like, he just has very high highs and very low lows. Usually those low lows are due to injury. So I'm hoping that he could stay on the field a little bit more than he has been able to in his first couple years in the league. I think that if you have these big time expectations, like this seems like the Jets are going to have this upcoming season. Again, we talked about, I don't know if we talked about a Winning Picks Weekly, we talked about it here. Super Bowl odds, when we were talking about last time, were plus 3,000, plus 3,500, down to plus 1,600 last time I saw. It's probably even lower now. So there are going to be some expectations for this Jets team more than there's been in the past few years. So
we're not even favorites to win the division.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think
right now about the division, and this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. All right, Greg, and the listener. I'm telling you, I am terrified of this scenario. You want to hear what it is?
Sure.
There's a team that's every single team in our division is clearing cap space. There's the Jets, and we know why. There's the Dolphins. We figured out why. They got Jalen Ramsey, and they just signed Mostert. You got the Bills, who are losing some huge defensive guys, and Poyer and Edmonds. Edmonds already gone. Poyer looks like he's on the way out. Von Miller coming back off injury. It looks. I'm going to take a wild guess there and say they're gearing up for Derrick Henry. $16 million, and that's what they're opening up the books for. Ready for this though? And that's not even the thing that's going to scare me. You know what's really going to scare me? The New England Patriots they already started the year with cap space, and now they're creating more cap space. They're not signing their players, and we haven't heard a word from them. Today, which Wednesday when you're listening, is the first day of free agency. Lamar Jackson does not have an agent. You cannot talk to him during the tampering period. The tampering period is reserved for the agents. Robert Kraft has money.
Sure does.
He could write you a check. He could write that escrow check, $200 million guaranteed. He doesn't care. The Patriots suck at drafting. It's all coming together. It's really all coming together. They could get rid of Mac Jones because it's a minimum of 2 first-round picks, but you can negotiate it. That's how I was told. So they can get Mac Jones and have him run that offense in Baltimore. So at least they come back with something plus the picks. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. I have this. You know, like when you have like that terrible feeling, people say like, "Don't do this." I have it like, "Don't go on this ride." I have a bad feeling, like some Final Destination stuff. I got a Final Destination. I got a Final Destination pit in my stomach that Lamar Jackson's gonna end up on New England. I truly do. Bill Belichick, he's like, dude, I'm getting to an end here. Just give me one quarterback that I know can do everything, that can do that run threat, that kills me when I try to defend, that can throw it. I know he's good. I know he's come from Baltimore, which they have a rapport with.
Yep.
Man, that's why I haven't even said that out loud till just now. Honestly,
I was just saying part of the show is entertainment. Part of the show is a little bit of therapy for us Jets fans. I appreciate you sharing that. I'm happy that you got that off your chest. I never want to speak about it again.
Okay.
I never want to talk about that again. I want to talk about Aaron Rodgers, and I want to talk about the Jets winning the Super Bowl. I do not want to talk about Bill Belichick and Lamar Jackson on the same team.
I'm saying we're talking about the division because they're going to make a splash at wide receiver.
Oh yeah,
they're going to get a D Hop. They're going to get a D Hop. They're going to do something, man. They're going to get Thielen. Thielen is the most New England Patriot wide receiver of all time. I don't care what anyone says, but now that that's off my chest, let's get back to happy times here.
Yes, please.
And right now, I mentioned Adam Thielen. He's been rumored to be one of the guys that is really good friends with Aaron Rodgers, a guy who was rumored that as soon as free agency starts, told his agent to contact the Jets. Yeah, who knows how true that is? Saw that on the Twitter, so take that for what it's worth. But he wasn't one of the people mentioned by my girl Diana Rossini.
Mm-hmm.
What were those guys, Greg? Do you know them off the top of your head?
It was
Alan Lazard.
Boys. It was Packers.
Alan Lazard, baby.
Number
That's
89,
the number one.
Mercedes Lewis. It was Randall Cobb. It was Aaron Rodgers. Those are the boys. Hopefully they're coming to town. They're joining. We have dudes on our team already. The fact that there's an opportunity to bring, obviously, I don't think Mercedes Lewis is going to get a ton of playing time, but maybe same thing with Randall Cobb. But still, the fact that we're able to bring in 3 or 4 more players to this offense that I really had some serious flashes last year. Like Breece Hall had some serious flashes in the first half of that season. Garrett Wilson has serious flashes all season long. So now we're bringing in these guys, the guy that you've talked about a lot that's not on this wish list, but I don't know if that's for good reason or bad reason. Maybe it's just because he's not on the Packers right now. Your boy Jamal Williams led the league in touchdowns last year. You add him into this mix. This is an offense. This is an offense, ladies and gentlemen.
If Jamal Williams ends up on this team,
yeah,
we're going to the Super Bowl. I'm literally going to book my hotel in Vegas. No, I'm not joking. No, I'm honestly not joking.
I don't, again, not to bring it down because this is Aaron Rodgers Eve. This is a celebration. We're having a good time. I don't know if Breece Hall is going to be ready week 1. I don't know if I want him to be ready week 1. I want Breece Hall to have a
That I agree with the
long
most.
career. So
That I agree
do
with
what
the
you
most.
got to do. Do what you got to
Do we
do, man.
want him to be ready by week 1? I definitely don't want my players playing in the Hall of Fame game because I heard terrible things about that turf, and it's the first game of the season in early August.
Yeah, I just don't want another Mekhi Becton thing. Like, even like not, maybe not even playing in the preseason, but like out there in like training camps and stuff, and he gets hurt. Like, take your time, Breece Hall. If you don't come back to week 6 or week 8, but you are what you were last year, or some version of that, that's completely fine with me. Because to your point, what you've been saying all offseason, we go out and we sign a Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams and Michael Carter should be able to handle, Bam should be able to handle his backfield for the first half of the season. And then we add in a guy like Breece Hall. I mean, that's a backfield that can do some damage. And late in the season, when it gets cold out, you got to run that football. Breece Hall and Jamal Williams, no problem.
Oh, man.
But again, he's not on the wish list.
But so the first person on the wish list is Alan Lazard. We signed him.
Yep.
So now, officially, our team, again, regardless of what's going to happen, but it's going to happen, right? We have G5, Mr. Garrett Wilson, who's changing his number to 5. See you later, Mike White. I don't care that you wrote a nice thing on Instagram. I don't care that you're from South Florida. The fact that you went to the Miami Dolphins,
disgusting.
You're done. I'm done with you. I can't wait till the Jets have. I hope you play against the Jets at some point. That would be we're gonna crush him.
Yeah.
We're gonna absolutely crush him. So we got G5 now, back to his college number. We got Elijah Moore, who Josiah Anderson tweeted that we're not gonna trade him. I believe her.
Okay. Yep.
Breece Hall. You said Jamal Williams. I didn't say it. You said it. You said it. All right. Michael Carter, he could hang out. Maybe get traded if he wants, but he could just chill as a third string because I kind of really want either the running back from Tulane or the running back from Minnesota. And the draft, we'll talk about that later in the draft episode.
Yep.
We got the 2 tight ends. Let me ask you, man.
2 tight ends plus Mercedes Lewis plus Rucker. Like, we got a tight end room.
Okay, so you're throwing him in there. Are you throwing in Randall Cobb too?
Yeah, sure. Throw Randall Cobb in there. Yeah.
As long as they're both on minimum deals, I'm really cool with this whole thing.
Yeah,
like I'm really cool. Like regardless, it's fine, right? But there's no line that I'm not willing to cross for Aaron Rodgers at this point. But if it's minimum deals, I mean, we made out like absolute bandits. And if Aaron Rodgers decides to come to the Jets and restructure his deal, because he's owed $58 million on March 17th, it's a big check.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure something's going to change. We'll find out today / tomorrow. Who knows anymore? But let me ask you this about this team. We talked about the AFC East. Let's just talk about it the way it's set right now. We got the Dolphins, decent defense.
One more. I want to talk about one more person who's been getting floated out there. I don't know if he's on a wish list or not. Maybe we've talked about, maybe we haven't before we move on to the division stuff. OBJ. People are throwing his name out there. OBJ as another wide receiver. How many wide receivers can one team have? Do you think Odell gets signed here as wide receiver 3, I guess? Do you think we want that?
That's the question. Do we want that?
I don't.
Do we actually want that?
I don't. Dude, I hate Odell. I hate him.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Hasn't had a good season since, 2016? Was his last time he had a
ton of yards? With the Rams. He won the championship with the Rams.
He caught a touchdown in the first half, but I don't know if he had like a crazy season that season.
He just got injured. Here's the thing.
He's injured. He's injured every season. That's the point. That's why he hasn't had a good season in 6 years.
Listen, Aaron Rodgers and Odell Beckham Jr. is the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. So, we have to start there.
Sure.
You don't like his personality.
Nope.
That's one thing. I don't like how much money he's asking for. That's my issue. He's literally asking for more than Aaron Rodgers. That's my problem. I would love Odell Beckham on this team. Like, I'm not going to be an idiot here. I'm not going to be a stuck-up guy and say, oh, no, you used to propose to the field goal post. You, like, make everything
I don't
about
care
yourself.
about that. I just care about him just being a cancer for the team and the locker room, the organization. We have a young team. We don't need people acting tough and kicking stuff.
Yeah, like I think he's past that. And I think when you have someone like Aaron Rodgers there,
right.
You can't act like that in front of Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't, in my opinion. And the fact that he's on his wish list, like, I'm cool with it all. But I'm really not cool with the contract. And he's obviously looking for a real contract. But I'm wondering if that's just some posturing. Like, you have the self-awareness to have to create your own pro day because nobody trusts you off your injury. Like, that's how much people need to see you play. There's no way you really think you're going to get 20 million. You know what I mean? There's no way. So I wonder if he's going to get, like, is he going to get 10 like Lazard? Like 10, 11 million like Lazard? Like,
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
If he does, that'd be great. But the question is now
10 million, like, for what though? He's not getting.
It's still a lot. You're right. It's still a lot.
And who is he going to be on the field instead of? Like Elijah Moore? Like Elijah Moore's making $600,000. It's like, why?
I was just going to bring that up. I was actually just going to bring that up. My issue is mostly with what that does to the chemistry of the team. Because now we're turning into an NBA team that adds, like, they're trying to add stars. You know what I mean? Like, no one's going to be like, yo, the Jets won because they added Mercedes Lewis and Randall Cobb. You know what I mean? Like, they came for, whatever. Like, or somebody like Alan Lazard. We got him for 2 years, 11 million each year. You know what I mean? It's not like we're getting superstars. I feel like once you start adding people like Odell, the product gets a little diluted and it becomes like the Rams. Gotten Jalen Ramsey, getting Stafford, getting Odell. You know what I mean? Like, Cooper Kupp is the guy that everyone loves because he's the guy that they draft. You know what I mean? So I'm just wondering if it kind of dilutes the product here. Like, we're diehard Jets fans, man. Like, my blood, sweat, and tears last year was with freaking Braxton Berrios and Braden Mann. Like, now every day I'm crying about those two, and John Franklin Myers and Quincy Williams. Like, those four guys controlled almost every loss of my season. And with Zach Wilson, you know what I mean? Like, it's just such a whirlwind. Like, to now start thinking about Aaron Rodgers and Odell Beckham. So I'm gonna nix Odell Beckham. I'm gonna say no. That's my first one. I'm gonna put my hand down. Obviously, if it's a make or break, dude. If you get Aaron Rodgers, if you're coming to the Jets with any make or break, the answer is yes. Anybody.
Yeah.
Even if you told me Bakhtari. Even if, like, it doesn't matter. Dwayne Brown, I'll be like, yo, sorry, Dwayne Brown. Like, I know you're never going to talk to me again. I'm sorry, bro. You got to retire. You did the whole shoulder thing. You played through it. You're never going to talk to me again, but, like, we need Aaron Rodgers. So I'm sorry. We're going to get Bakhtari. Like, I would do that even. Like, I would ruin that relationship. And maybe no other left tackle will ever come and sign for this organization with, Joe Douglas. No problem. Like, I'll still take that.
Yeah, you whatever it takes to get Aaron Rodgers, you do. I like I said, I don't think Odell was on Aaron Rodgers' wish list. I don't think that was on Aaron Rodgers' wish list. I think that was other people on Twitter throwing it out there.
No, it was Rossini. She tweeted it.
Yeah, I don't know.
You got to believe them. Listen, you can't believe them when you want it and when you don't.
That's true.
That's the whole thing. So you got to take everything with a grain of salt, yes. But I'm not taking Trey Wingo with a grain of salt. I believe you, Trey. Believe in Trey.
100%.
We really got Aaron Rodgers, huh?
I mean, don't say it till I won't believe it till he shows up at OTAs, but it's looking like it, my man.
All right, so
looking like it. 4-time MVP.
So Greg is, for you listeners out there, he's going to be away on a bachelor party to watch the March Madness College Basketball Tournament. If you want our picks, go check that out on the Winning Picks Weekly. It's on the Nick Jets Etc. YouTube. It also has its own feed on Apple, Spotify.
I'll be tweeting out all my picks. I'll be betting every single window for 4 days straight. So,
but the reason I'm bringing that up, Winning P Weekly on Twitter. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because he's not going to be here. He's not going to be available.
Correct.
When Aaron Rodgers hopefully announces. So I'll probably come on, start freaking out for a couple of minutes. Hopefully make some more deals. We'll keep you guys updated from our side. But last thing before we go, Greg, because you're not gonna be here to talk to the listeners tomorrow. You're not gonna be here for the celebration. which I hope, God, I hope this would be the worst come down of all time. But anyway,
Yeah, this would be bad.
positive thoughts.
Exactly.
What are you thinking about the center position with Aaron Rodgers? What are you thinking about our linebacker position with now CJ, who might get restructured again, and Quincy, who signed, right? Quincy Williams. What do you think about the safety position where after the Chuck Clark trade, where you still have Jordan Whitehead there? Do you have any thoughts on these three huge acquisitions that I think where the Jets are going to start shifting to after this? Because the offense is done. Like after tomorrow, the offense is done, man. Like maybe you sign a Jamal Williams or another running back. But other than that, center, linebacker, hopefully, safety, and you're going to work on, of course, Carl Lawson, Quinnen Williams contracts, try to figure that all out.
Yeah, I think for center, I think you have to go with a veteran. One name that I did see that was testing free agency or was allowed to test free agency or whatever, however you want to say, was Ben Jones from the Titans, because we just picked up the Titans offensive line coach, who's now our
Keith.
Was it?
Keith
Yeah,
Carter.
exactly. Keith Carter, who's like our running game coordinator, offensive line coach now too. So,
And
I think
Downing,
that,
which is the offensive coordinator from the Titans.
yeah, so we picked up a couple Titans coaches. So I'm like, okay, maybe we bring in Ben Jones. He's a veteran. Our new Titans coaches can speak the same language as him. So this way, him and Hackett, who was the OC with Aaron Rodgers, can all get on the same page in the coaches' room. So this way, they could get on the same page on the field a little bit faster, a little bit better, and that can work. I think you have to bring a veteran in for Rodgers. I think Rodgers is going to be not wanting to deal with a rookie center. I think maybe you draft a rookie center to kind of learn and fill out the position. Is Connor McGovern definitely gone, or is he just testing free agency and we'll see how it goes?
As of right now, he's still testing free agency.
Yeah.
Actually, the other Connor McGovern got signed, which Bleacher Report still can't figure out the fact that there's two of them. So it's still popping up, but it's still 50% of the Connor McGoverns are signed. However, that's not our Connor McGovern.
Perfect. So, I mean, if he wants to come back, I'm okay with that. I don't know if Ben Jones are both in their 30s. I don't know if he's a much bigger upgrade. I don't think there's any like stud center out there that I'm like, ooh, we have to go sign. Like Lincoln Tomlinson last year was like, oh, we should really go sign that guard. We need a good guard. I don't know if there's a solid center that's going to be a free agent this offseason. As far as the other positions that you mentioned, the safety and linebacker, other positions, I'm okay with a mix of, there's no names that really stood out to me as like, we have to go get this guy. I saw a couple big names re-sign with teams or were traded already. So it's like, okay, it kind of limits the pool a little bit, but I'm okay with Whitehead. People kind of had their mixed feelings about Whitehead throughout the season. I thought he was okay last year. I think if we get another guy around his caliber to help out with the safety position, I think that would be extremely valuable. If we have to end up drafting someone, I think there's a couple prospects coming up. We'll talk about that in our draft episodes that we could take with the second, third round pick. We also don't know exactly. I don't know if you've seen anything on what this compensation package is going to be for Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if we are giving up a second or third round pick, or if we're just, or is it just the first? Is it not the first, but a second? So we don't know exactly
Greg?
where we're going to be drafting.
Okay, so I'll comment real quick on Ben Jones. I kind of agree with you, and the issue, I guess, with him is for the first time ever, he missed more than one game in a season, which was last year, and it was because of concussions. So that scares me a little bit, but he was given the option to retire or get cut, and he chose to get cut. So that means he still wants to play. So it is interesting. And you want to hear something even more interesting? Shout out to PFF for doing some comparisons. They try to do a comparison for every single player.
Okay.
Guess which player is a comparison to Ben Jones?
Connor McGovern?
John Michael Schmitz, the center from Minnesota, like the rookies,
okay.
Which is hilarious. You know what I mean? I don't know if this is like that's just like all just trying to line them up like that. But shout out to Connor Rodgers. That's been his guy all along. We've loved JMS this entire time. That's why I love Mo Ibrahim. I mean, that's all I watch. I love Minnesota so much because of those two guys. I want Mo Ibrahim as an undrafted free agent more than anything on earth. I want him more than Oh, forget it. I'm not gonna go too far.
Yeah, so
But
if we take him out of Minnesota, in the second round, third round, wherever he's projected to go,
second,
it's like, oh, yeah, okay, then we take him, and then we bring in some veteran. We kind of sandwich it here. We got a veteran for the next year or two to go with Rodgers. We got a young guy to lead and learn, that could take over on a good deal. To me, that's the best way to approach it. Because to me, we have to figure out the center position. It
especially
it
with
it
Aaron.
doesn't really yeah, and it doesn't really matter, oh, this left tackle, oh, this left guard. It doesn't really matter so much of you can't figure out the quarterback in the center. So we
I
need to
agree.
figure that out big time. I feel pretty good about the rest of the positions right now. Becton's look pretty healthy. AVT, I haven't heard too much about, but I'm assuming that he's progressing at this point pretty well because we haven't heard anything. So yeah, for that. And then the defense, I think, like I said, at this point, we need linebackers. I know last episode you talked about Quan Alexander possibly being the odd man out. To me, that sucks because I think he was one of our another good signing that we had last year. I think he played pretty well. And then we have to address the safety position. It's just something we have to do, whether it's with a rookie. We saw last year we had a bunch of rookies come onto this team and played really well. So I think we can do it again. But if it's with the free agent signing, I mean, we freed up, I think, what was the number, $24 million over the last 4 days with the restructurings that we talked about in the beginning of this episode. So we freed up a good amount of money. We can spend $8 million, $12 million on a safety and get that locked and loaded.
So it just depends, right? Because as the contract stands right now for Aaron Rodgers, the deal, like, you can't press confirm on the deal if you're playing Madden, or like you can't send it into the league office if you don't have the cap space available as the contract stands. So they need to have $58 million. You know what I'm saying? On the book, they need it. So I feel like that's what they're working towards, unless Aaron Rodgers changes it, which I guess if both sides of a contract decide to change the contract, you can change the contract, like contract 101. You know what I mean? So like, I don't really know. I've never seen this. We've never seen a deal like Aaron Rodgers, like his original contract that he signed last year. We've never seen anybody approach free agency like him. So we don't really know how his contract's going to look. So I don't know if, we can't really pinpoint the reason there. I agree with you that Quan, again, I mean, I agree with myself and you. It's almost confirmed, man. Quan looks like he's out of the picture here, which sucks. I wonder if Dorian Williams from Tulane. We need a rookie here at least. We need a really solid rookie. I don't think it's going to be Jack Campbell. He's going to go too high. It could be the kid from Illinois, but he reminds me a lot of Darren Lee, which is what it is. We'll see what happens there. I'm really thinking Dorian Williams from Tulane. Again, we'll have the draft stuff, but we're on free agency here. I wonder if we haven't mentioned Chuck Clark. Chuck Clark has started every single game for the Ravens. Like, and they got a pickup and Hamilton in the top like 10 or whatever number it was. Like, and he still started every single game. Like, Chuck Clark is good and he's really cheap. Somebody who's inconsistent and not really cheap is Jordan Whitehead. He gets really upset on Twitter if you say anything about cut, he'll block you. But like, I just want, like, real quick, like, we're talking about safeties here. Do you think somebody like SGC, Gardner Johnson from the Eagles, he could be in play here?
I think he got re-signed.
No, Bradbury got re-signed. SGC also?
Okay. I thought so.
I'll check that. But do you have any other free agency deals, like maybe Poyer? Or are you good with Whitehead? Because you mentioned him. So I'm just curious.
Oh, maybe it was Bradbury, it looks like. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay. Poyer would be something if we snag him from Buffalo.
And just give him Whitehead's money.
Yeah. I mean, well, to me, it's like I wouldn't cut Whitehead just to sign someone else in his spot because he knows the team already. The team seems to like him. I guess he's inconsistent, but when he was on, he was really on. There's a lot of guys that are inconsistent. JFM, I'm looking at you. That when you're not screwing us over, I don't really know exactly what you're doing. Yeah, you're making some plays, but you're not getting sacks to stop drives. Whitehead had some interceptions. Whitehead had some big pass blocks. Whitehead had some big plays. So his highs are high. His lows
big
were
fumbles
low.
Too. Big forced fumbles.
Yeah. So so to me, that gives you a little bit of leeway. It gives you a little bit of slack. It's like, all right, yeah, I get that some plays, some series, Some games aren't that great, but when he's on, he's on.
That's fair. Maybe
Yeah,
rookie Branch, if he
I
falls to
haven't.
us, maybe.
Yeah, I haven't dived too much into it because it's
Because you
so.
don't
This
know
is
what
the
we have.
first. Dude, this is the first free agency and the first draft coming up where I really don't know where we stand to start the league year. Like, I don't know how much money we have. I don't know if we can spend 20 million or if we can spend 2 million. Like, I don't, I really don't know. So next week, it sounds like when I'm back from this bachelor party, we're going to have a lot to talk about because we're going to be celebrating, God willing, Aaron Rodgers and all these other guys. But then on top of that, we'll know where we're at money wise. We'll know who we still need to go after. And then we'll be able to start looking at this draft stuff because we'll know exactly what picks we have. And again, I think I've said it before. We don't have a ton of holes. There are some holes we have to fill. We have to figure out in this roster. But for the first time in a long time, I don't feel like we need 13 out of the 22 positions on offense and defense.
Here it is: punter, center,
yep,
D tackle,
yep,
linebacker 2/3,
yep,
safety 2/3. Yeah,
yep.
So it's not. We re-signed Greg the Leg. We have a kicker. Oh, we also need a returner. Somebody's gonna have to figure that out. I wonder who's maybe Garrett Wilson, or maybe we'll sign someone else. But that's another thing we have to work on too. Maybe in the draft we'll get to that. So let me ask you this: you keep talking about how we don't know what the compensation is going to be. This is the last day we're going to be able to guess. So let's put it on the books officially.
Okay.
Official trade. What's the trade with Aaron Rodgers?
A second this year and a second next year.
With a condition, or that's it? Just 2 seconds?
Nope. 2 seconds.
All right. I'm giving them Corey Davis.
Okay.
In the deal. And I'm giving them this year's second, which means that the Jets are going to have to trade down from 13.
Yep.
And never mind. I'm going to give them this year's third, and then next year's second. That becomes a conditional first if the Jets make the Super Bowl.
Okay, I like that.
So Corey Davis, a third this year, a second next year. That becomes a first if the Jets and Aaron Rodgers make the Super Bowl.
Make the Super Bowl. I like that. I mean, yeah, if we throw Corey Davis in and we're able to,
it's going to be a condition. It's going to be if they make the playoffs. If we haven't made the playoffs in 13 years, it's going to be if we make the playoffs. But I'm hoping it's a little more than that, like advance. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I'll give them the first, no problem. If Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers next year, you can have it. If we go to the playoffs with like 12 wins or something, dude, go ahead. I don't it's all good. Take the first pick, enjoy it, have a nice meal with it, enjoy the guy. We thank you so much for your services. We'll see Jordan Love in 15 years. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll be back in 2 decades to do this again.
Yeah, draft somebody else, develop them, like them a lot, so you can send us Jordan Love, which I think Jordan Love's going to be really good. I honestly do, and that's why I think that they need a wide receiver to add with him. And I think Corey Davis is a good wide receiver to add over there.
Yeah, especially if they're losing Lazard. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
They already lost Lazard, bro. They already lost Lazard regardless of what happens. That's done. True. Like, we're not getting Anthony Bard. That's done. All right, I feel better. Do you have any airing of grievances? This is the Festivus of Aaron Rodgers. Do you have any airing of grievances for how this process has been handled? I mean, the Discord chat for Badlands is bonkers. My Facebook chat, where I have like group chat, that's been bonkers. Our group chats on regular IMS have been going insane. Do you have any issue with Aaron? At the end of the day, the crux of it is Aaron Rodgers is going to decide by 1 o'clock on the first league day. Like, how do you feel about how this whole process has filled out? Do you have a sour taste in your mouth already from Aaron Rodgers, or are you cool?
No, and if you do, shut up. That's my answer to anyone that does have a sour taste in their mouth for Aaron Rodgers. What are you talking about? Shut up. So
he's washed, dude. He's old. You got to pay him so much money. We have to sign his friends. He's in darkness. We got to do this whole waiting game.
You sound like you're not a Jets fan right now. If you're a Jets fan and you're on Twitter like that, you sound like you're not a Jets fan. So
I love this.
Yeah. I mean, sure. If you're a Patriots fan, I'd be saying all those things. If you're a Jets fan, though, you were signed a 4-time MVP to a Jets team that had a tough time getting regular free agents. We just got the best quarterback free agent in 30 years. I don't know. Maybe Peyton Manning
Brett
was a
Favre,
better free agent signing.
Everyone wants to hate on Brett Favre. He gave me one of the best games of my entire life. I'll never forget it. He threw 6 touchdowns in a game right in front of my face. I mean, Aaron Rodgers does 6 touchdowns in a game. That's going to be the second best game of my life.
By the way, folks, this whole like waiting thing, not confirming thing, God willing, we go through this process 3 or 4 times. It's going to happen every single time during the offseason. He's going to wait. He's going to guess. He's going to be darkness retreats. He's going to do it all every offseason. And I can't wait, John. I can't wait. I hope it's 2027 and we're talking about darkness retreat still, because that means he's still on the team and that means we're still competitive. I hope so. Like, come on. Like, so who cares? Yeah, I have absolutely no grievances. Aaron Rodgers can do no wrong in my mind right now. As long as he signs and he shows up and he's healthy week 1, that's all I care about.
I love it. On that note, that's a nice pep talk. Aaron Rodgers, welcome to Gangrene. My only airing of grievance is the jersey. We better figure out something with the jersey. I hope the holdup is all because I'm not wearing an XFL Canadian football jersey. I'm not wearing that. Figure something out. I hope that's the what's going on here. You already got number 12 from Joe Namath. He's like, dude, I'm not wearing an XFL Joe Namath jersey, bro. Like, let's figure this out here. Bring back the Titans jerseys. I'll wear that every game. We're only wearing the blacks. Like, bring back the Sanchez jersey. Like, bring any jersey. I can't wear the XFL. I can't buy it. I've sworn off jerseys, but I love Aaron Rodgers, so I'm gonna have to buy Aaron Rodgers jersey or a hoodie or something. I can't buy an XFL hoodie, shirt. I can't buy a CFL jersey, so we better figure this out. I'm with Aaron here. On that note, I'll be back if Aaron Rodgers signs or says he's gonna get traded, or honestly, if he says I'm gonna retire.
Yeah, I'll find out tomorrow, 1 p.m.
It's possible. I don't want to bring it up, but it is technically possible. He just got his boy signed, and then he's like, all right, like, I'm really not gonna play. Okay. Thanks for Lazard. It sucks. It's gonna be tough. But we'll see what happens, man. You know what it is. Like and subscribe to our YouTube, Knicks Coming, Jets Coming, ETC period. We have the Winning Picks Weekly there, which we just talked about. Greg is going to be tweeting from the Winning P Weekly account. He's going to be bachelor party, college basketball, March Madness. He's going to be at the games in Albany. We're going to be all over this. He's got the parlays going with the Final Fours. He's got VCU going to the Sweet 16 at plus 710. There's lots of things. Go check out Winning P Weekly. We got want an NIT for during the off days. Take Rutgers plus 750 to win the NIT. There's lots of fun basketball coming on. Not just NFL free agency madness. We even have the master stuff coming up here for Winning Picks Weekly. So check that out there. But you know what it is? Apple, Spotify. If you're listening there, Amazon Music, no ads over there, which is great. If you're listening to any of these places, let us know. Like and subscribe. And that's it. Greg, got anything else?
No. Welcome to the Jets, Aaron Rodgers. Let me be the first to congratulate you and welcome you here.
Yo, this could all blow up in our face, and it better not.
Nah.
The ghost of Johnny Abraham. We're about to have another quarterback since he left. First quarterback since he left. Speaking of Johnny Abraham, real quick. Oh, this is like the extras in a Marvel scene.
Yeah.
A Marvel movie.
Yeah, this is the mid-credit
Carl Lawson.
Scene. Were you signing him? Were you structuring him? What are we doing?
Oh, that's the question. Carl Lawson. You know the whole question. What Carl Lawson?
I hope we restructure his deal. I also saw what Calais Campbell became a free agent today.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind bringing him in.
Different. He's a nice D tackle, man. That would be sick.
I know. I saw JMF get restructured. I was like, all right, I guess we're not doing that.
Yeah.
But dude, I like Carl Lawson. I think that it was his first season coming back off a serious injury. Let's give him another shot. Let's restructure like everyone else is. Let's keep it going. What do you think?
Right. I think he's going to get cut, and he's going to sign a team-friendly deal worth like $33 million over like 3 years, but he's not going to get the full 15 this year. It's going to be spread out a little bit. But he'll get like he has 15 million guaranteed, so we'll give him 22 million guaranteed, but we'll split that up into like 2-3 years, with the third year being the void year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you'll get $7 more million. guaranteed for next year. Well, we have to lock you in so we can figure this all out because we need Aaron Rodgers. I think that's how it's gonna go.
Yeah.
All right, we out. Let's go Jets. Jets. Jets, bro. 9-11 Monday night game versus the Giants. Thanksgiving game versus the Cowboys. Aaron Rodgers. Locking those two in right now. Let's
love
go.
it.
Oh, and Hackett versus Russell Wilson. Denver on a primetime game.
For sure.
We out.